Americans are hungry as the pandemic continues to tear across the country. The federal government hasn't provided the necessary relief for some. You've probably seen insanely long lines at food banks giving out food to people in need. But interestingly enough, in Portland, police were caught essentially preventing individuals from trying to take food out of a dumpster. And let me be clear, it wasn't just any old dumpster. It was a dumpster that was used by Fred Meyer, a grocery store owned by Kroger. And the employees had thrown out quite a bit of food that hadn't even expired yet. And they had cops essentially guard the dumpster to prevent people, including some organizations, from dumpster diving and giving that food to needy people. So Juniper Simonis, who's an environmental biologist and data scientist, documented the events and posted photos of what was going down on Twitter. I'm gonna share a few of them with you right now. When I arrived on at the Hollywood Fred Meyer in Portland this evening, I was greeted by 12 Portland police officers who were apparently guarding 2 dumpsters full of food that mutual aid organizations were trying to distribute and hungry folks were trying to eat. Now, some of the food wouldn't even expire until March, just to give you a sense of how this food was totally fine. It's not like it was old, moldy food that would be dangerous to eat. Simonis added that most of the food looked okay since the cold temperatures outside were keeping it cold and preventing it from spoiling. She also writes this, and a brave soul ventured in to retrieve some strawberry lemonade won't expire until March. The second dumpster, by the way, was completely full, just to give you a sense of how much food was being thrown out. And I was like, okay, that's a lot of food, but I was not prepared for what I saw in the orange dumpster. This is the orange dumpster, it was basically full. Now, in a statement, Fred Meyer said that they threw the food out in an abundance of caution. There have been power outages and because of like winter storms. And so possibly as a result of that, they wanted to throw the food out of an abundance of caution just to make sure that none of it had spoiled. And there is a law, let me be clear, there is a law in place in Oregon. It's by the Oregon Health Authority that requires licensed grocery store facilities to throw out all food at risk of spoiling to prevent potential foodborne illnesses in the event of an outage. But honestly, that being said, I just think like, I get that the law is the law, but it's also frustrating that there's no room for human judgment at all. Like, let's call the cops and have the cops spend their time guarding dumpsters with food that's perfectly fine, isn't gonna expire for at least another month. People are hungry. It makes no sense. And I don't know, Cenk, maybe you disagree with me on this, but I just think that if people want to eat food and they want to take that risk, let them take that risk. And I think humans can judge for themselves whether or not the food is safe to eat. Like you can kind of tell.
Yeah, so look, I think there's 2 things here. One is they're worried about the law, but more important than that, they're worried about lawsuits. So, they're not gonna get arrested for this. And certainly given, the context of it, they wouldn't get fined or anything along those lines if they gave it to food banks. There's no way they would get fined, right? Especially in Portland, Oregon. But could some unscrupulous person come by and pretend to get, hurt by it? And are there lawyers who would take that case and sue them? Probably. So that part I get. There's also another part of it too. If you give away the food, if you're a restaurant or you're a store, after the store closes, well then the logic is then people know and they'll wait for you to close or a situation like this and they won't buy your food. That's another reason that they throw it out. So, and that's of course more disturbing. But honestly, we really don't know of those different reasons why Fred Meyer made the decision that they made. But to me, the second part of the story is more important. I mean, this is nearly a perfect description of America 2021. So some people—
America for the last few decades, actually, to be honest with you. But yeah, it's gotten so bad that it's like in your face all the time. So yeah, definitely.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, so some people have so much that they guard the things that they're throwing away in case you're gonna get any of them without them making a profit, right? And others are diving into dumpsters out of desperation to grab food that is thrown away. And that right there is unfortunately the America that we've known for quite some time. So America wasn't supposed to be like this. I mean, if there's all the mythology about, oh my God, the land of milk and honey and all this opportunity. If you saw the reality of it, people desperately trying to get into dumpsters for food, the cops blocking them on behalf of people trying to make a profit from them while they're throwing away all of it. It's got a little, again, Marie Antoinette and the worst days of the French royalty before the revolution.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.